scene in a Chinatown. And I wanted to make this ending in China. And as it happened, I don't know how it looks now. There was no Chinatown in Los Angeles in the time when they shot the film. In the past, there was. Dick Silbert, the production designer, was a wonderful man, a great friend, also part of our bunch of friends. Also tremendously talented fellow, you know. To tell you, his first film was Baby Doll.
Yes.
Remember that house?
Yeah.
You know, what the talent, he was 20-something, 23 or whatever. Was much older, of course, from China. So I said to Dick, I need a Chinese street. And we went to look for some locations that could be easier adapted for it, with at least they had few Chinese restaurants, you know. And that's what happened. Dick Silver very quickly made it up, added some Chinese restaurants, signs, some diners, etc. Built a Chinese street, and then I wrote that ending briefly, and I told Jack, I'll bring you the dialogues and you fix it your way, you know. By that time, Robert was not involved at all in the making of the film. I'm talking of the Robert Town, the screenwriter. And on the night, you know, we got there, and I said, I gave those 3 or 4 pages to Bob Evans. I gave them to Jack, literally in his trailer. And Jack somehow adapted the dialogue that I wrote for his voice. He's got a specific way of delivering, as you might have just stated.
Yes.
And we did this, shot it in one night, if I remember, maybe 2. It went very quickly.
Yes, and let's stick with Dick Silbert for a moment. Chinatown is regarded here as one of the great, sort of beautiful evocations of historic Los Angeles. And Dick, who, as you know, I worked with also on other pictures, told me once that he was very involved in the location scouting. Was that your experience?
Oh yeah, the production designer always is.
Well, not so much anymore, Roman. Yeah, sadly, now there's some Teamster who calls himself a location manager, but in any event, so the film...
His location manager should be preoccupied with logistics and not with the artistic part of it. You know, they should make sure that people who look for locations have coffee and the rest, you know.
I think that's a well-taken point. Okay. So, that bravura view of Los Angeles, a Los Angeles that may never really have existed, but certainly appeals to everyone's romantic sense.
No, it existed. It existed. We were really trying to be historically correct. And so was Bob Town writing the script, you know. Bob loves the city of Los Angeles and its history, and he was inspired by it. So it's not just, you know, a rendition, it's truly the history.
No, that's right, I understand that. So Roman, this 3-day period in San Francisco is typified by 6 of your pictures and also by several documentaries about you. And Marina's coming up tomorrow and showing her documentary. Death and the Maiden's running tomorrow, a lot of things. It was a beautiful print of Repulsion, just a perfect print, pristine, amazing, the other night.
Virtual, all those new inventions that where people decry the things which disappear. I always say we get so much more in return. I've seen several of my films restored, and I was surprised and sometimes stupefied myself. by the quality of it, including the tests which they did very recently here.
Sure, and which is a beautiful movie to begin with. And that takes me to the question of film or digital. Did you shoot Venus digitally or on film?
No, digitally.
And how do you feel about it? Are you
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Are you happy shooting digitally?
Yeah, I was very happy. Yeah. I always use a lot of digital effects, even if you don't see them in my films, because I don't do the special effects for the exploitation of this medium. But I always use a lot. Like, I don't know which of my last films you have seen or you will be seeing in this retrospective, but in the films like, I don't know, in The Ghostwriter, there were at least 300 or 400 digital effects. So when you do shoot on digital camera, you can get into that stuff immediately. You don't have to wait, to transpose it to digital.
Yes, Roman, I gotta say, I love that you always embrace new technology. We've known each other a long time, and I don't know any other director who is more interested in the forefront of technology than you are. I also know no other director who's had a multi-decade-long subscription to Scientific American. So let's talk about.
I'll put a few on my desk.
So let's talk about your astonishing ability to get performances from women. You've had an amazing array of actresses give frequently their best work, from Catherine Deneuve and Mia Farrow and Faye Dunaway and Kinski and Sigourney Weaver and others. Tell me about that. Is there something that you find personally that works for you in directing women?
Well, women don't mind so much being directed.
Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, men always have this, this fear of being somehow, of being directed, in fact, you see. It's by the men. Probably it's easier for them with women, or maybe even worse if they are macho-minded,
Yeah.
But I don't know, I never really analyzed it, but I had a very good relationship with these actresses, with me, and particularly with except Faye Dunaway.
Okay, all right.
See, but she's good in the film as well, although it was not easy, it wasn't,
No, I understand, but it is maybe her best performance, So whatever happened there, it worked. So
I don't think a specific thing happened to her during that shooting, except the ones I pulled her hair, one hair, which became a major crisis in the production.
Uh-huh. And does that mean you've never done that again, or you just...
What, the hair, pulling a hair
yes,
from...
that,
Yeah, well, I never done it again because of that experience. I don't think it's much to pull a hair which complicates your progress in shooting, It was some kind of one rebellious hair that stuck out and caught the back line, and, I had to cut. And the hairdresser came and fixed it, and we ran over in the club, and the hair went up again. And after 3 or 4 times, I finally went, I said, wait a second, enough. And I pulled the hair, and, she got a crisis.
there you go. Such is the way of Hollywood. So, you're finishing Venus in Fur now, and as you move forward, you're going to do the Dreyfus Affair next, is that right?
That's right, yes.
And do you have a sense of when you're going to start shooting that movie yet?
Well, you know, we still have a lot of work to do first on the script, but at the same time we want to start preparation, of course. But all together, those things will take a while. I don't know exactly at this moment when we will be ready. I know that I want to get into it immediately after finishing this film, which is very soon, month or two.
Right. And I'm going to also ask you to talk just for a second about Frantic, because that's coming up for our audience. As I remember the conversation, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were sitting in a dubious restaurant in a dubious Tunisian hotel working on the pirate movie. And you said, Tom, I want to make a movie in a city where I can eat the food and the telephones work. Does that sound familiar?
It sounds right.
So that was the beginning of Frantic. Also, I've seen in print that you once described Frantic as a movie that might end American tourism in Paris. So can you tell us?
To use Paris in a way that is not normally used by American directors, you know, until now, you know, because even if you look at recent films shot in Paris, like Woody Allen's movie, you know, it's all Paris from the period of Impressionists. I wanted to show the real city as it is, with part of it which is not at all attractive, but real.
Yes, great. And so in that context, one of the staff here asked me to ask you about directing Frantic. And I don't understand this question, I'm going to ask it anyway. The question is, what kind of mood were you in while you directed Frantic?
Wonderful mood.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I was happy to make a film with Emmanuel and with Harrison Ford. I was happy to make a film in the city where I live. I was happy about many things. I liked the whole experience. It was a good period in my life. And that always somehow remains in the films that we do forever, or for as long as the celluloid stays together, you know.
Absolutely.
But now, even when this falls apart, we can put it on digital.
Absolutely, and they are doing that rapidly. Roman, we're going to wrap this up. I know it's well past midnight your time. I wanted simply to say to you that we have a room full of people who have been coming to this festival and who are, in general, huge Roman Polanski fans, and they wanted to thank you for making your time available and for talking to us directly tonight. All right, Roman, thank you so much, and I hope you understand how loved you are in the city of San Francisco.
Well, thank you, Tom, so much for carrying it so well, and I wish you just happy movies. Bye.
All right, good night. Thank you.